Throw the oath of office.
I miss you, bro.
All right, I now call this meeting of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association Student Senate to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I love everybody's festive sweaters. This is so nice. All right. I want to begin our Student Senate meeting taking place on Thursday, December 4th, 2025 with a land acknowledgement. We recognize that Kansas State University, as the first land-grant institution, stands on the ancestral lands of the Kaw people. Our state of Kansas is home to 4 federally recognized Native nations, the Iowa, Kickapoo, Prairie Band Potawatomi, and Sac and Fox. We must remember that the land serving as the foundation for this institution was, and still is, stolen land acquired by white settlers. We pledge our commitment to creating decolonized spaces at the university while advocating for the support and future success of Indigenous faculty, staff, and students at K-State. All right, Speaker Pro Tem Lee will now take it away with roll call.
Welcome back. Happy December. Ala Alvarez.
Here.
Sorry. Barnes. Barnes, is she here?
Oh, here by Proxy. She'll be here second half.
Oh, okay. Fire. Benson.
Here.
Black.
Here.
Iswell.
Here.
Brown Logan.
He's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brown Wyatt.
Here.
Carey.
Here by proxy.
Coke.
She's here.
Oh, here by Proxy.
Gotcha. Dunn.
Here.
Dominguez. Proxy. Erickson.
Here.
Freeman. Freeman. I just saw her. Gaston.
Here.
George. Is on the Zoom? No, that's fine. Glasscock.
Here.
Guru Shanker.
Here.
Halstead.
Here.
Heller.
Here.
Hernandez. Hernandez.
Oh, here by proxy.
Gotcha. Holmes.
Here.
Holzmeister.
Here.
Hoffman. Hoffman. Kramer.
Here.
Karunaratna.
Here.
Kraus.
Here.
Jacobson.
Here.
Hassan Shakib.
Here.
Landwehr.
Here.
Lily.
Here.
Loeb. Mickey.
Here by proxy.
Gotcha. Mitchell.
Here.
Olengunju. Otto.
Here.
Pena.
Here by proxy.
Perry.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
Malenko Castro.
Here.
Potterf. Prey.
Proxy.
Rafferty.
Here.
Richburg.
Here.
Richenberg.
Here.
Rogers.
Here by proxy.
Rudd.
Here.
Scarborough.
Here.
Shellhaze.
Here.
Shirky.
Here.
Shasafari.
Here.
Solis.
Here.
Springer.
Here.
Sushanik.
Here.
Till.
Here.
Trump.
Here.
Zacco.
Here.
Cool. For proxies tonight, I have, I think, Rudd for Pena, Dunn for Hernandez, Alvarez for Barnes, Shirky for Prey, Heller for Mickey, and Lily for Dominguez. Am I missing anyone else? What's up?
Auto for Coke.
Potter's here? Oh, okay, fair. Sorry.
Auto for Coke.
Auto for Coke. Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Okay, that's it for me.
All right, so next up we have first open period. So if you will all close your laptops and please give your attention to Adrian Tucker. We will have you come down. You can either stand behind the podium or you can walk around with the floating mic. Podium's perfect. There you go, yeah.
Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. All right. So do I just point whenever I want a slide change?
I think so.
Okay. Somehow that just feels rude. I apologize. Okay. Setting my timer. Okay, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. I wanted to give everybody an update on parking services, just kind of where we've been over the last year with some of our initiatives and what we have looking forward. Next slide. Okay, so parking-led initiatives. Last year, the SGA approved a Donations for Citations program. So in the 24-25 academic year, and this started in February, I believe. No, I'm sorry, January 23rd of last year, we waived 481 citations totaling $20,615. That means there were 481 individual food items donated to Cats Cupboard. This year so far, we're at 73 citations for $1,608 in fines waived. We also initiated warning citations for the first week of class at the beginning of every semester. We did this primarily as an educational piece for students coming to campus. We try to get as much parking information out into the public as possible, but we're not able to always reach everybody. So we didn't want to be punitive at the beginning of every semester, because people just may not have known, so we issued warnings instead. We also issue warnings during finals week at every semester. Last year, some of you may or may not remember the candy canes that we gave out with our warning citations. We're doing the same thing this year. And at the end of spring semester, we will also be giving out the Chick-fil-A gift cards again, like we did last year. Our citations are also down from 17% at the beginning of 2024 to now 8% of our total department revenue, which is significant. Industry standard, we always try to keep our citation revenue down below 10% of our annual operating budget. Anything higher than 10% really does indicate an issue with your parking program. We are also continuing vehicle inspections before breaks. For those that don't know, what we offer is the ability to have your vehicle inspected, your tires checked, windshield wiper fluid, your oil checked, and any other fluids in your vehicle before you drive home at the beginning of every break. And it's a free service that we are providing. And we're also, we started our first annual toy drive this year. So between November 10th and December 10th, you can drop off any unwrapped toy to parking services, and for every donation, your name is entered in to win a drawing, or entered into a drawing to win a free annual permit with garage access. So there's unlimited entry, so you can enter as many times as you want. And if you're a graduating senior and you have a parking permit, we will refund you the cost of that parking permit and add garage access as well. So we're collecting donations until December 10th. Flyers have gone out on campus, but not everybody has heard about it. So if you could spread the word, that would be fantastic. We are holding an event here in this union on the 12th. Where we're giving away these toys to K-State students with families. So we're inviting them to bring their kids. They get to pick a toy. Ethan Erickson is going to be Santa. Yeah, it's great. We have some KSU police officers agreeing to be our little Santa's helpers. We have treats and gift bags, the whole thing. It's going to be a great event. Next slide. Okay, so why I'm actually here today. In response to the K-State Master Plan, thank you. I appreciate that. Is it just which button this?
I think it's the middle.
The top one's the laser pointer, then you have left and right for forward and advance.
Okay. Okay. The K-State Master Plan identified some changes that are coming with our parking capacity. Specifically, there was a survey that was released in, I believe, spring of last year, where people were asked about parking, and they've identified that people feel as though parking location is an issue. The quantity of parking we have is okay, but proximity to buildings is not ideal. I think we all know this. A focus on transit is needed. K-State's the only Big 12 campus without dedicated student-supported transit system. And we need a safer pedestrian experience. And they published this graph that shows where K-State ranks with other universities in the Big 12 in terms of macro and micro mobility options. And as you can see, we're lacking. So I'm working diligently to try and improve this. One of the things that I'm talking to you about today is the transit piece. All the other universities in the Big 12 that do have a transit piece, they have their transit through a student-led fee. They hire third-party operators to run their transit for them, or they work in conjunction with the local city or municipality that the university is located in. So I just wanted to add that little caveat there. Okay, great, it works. All right, so we also identified in the master plan that parking services, we're losing 932 stalls over the next 10 years, specifically due to buildings put on A2, which is the T lot south of the business building, A6, which is north of Justin, A17, which is north of Schellenberger, A28, which is the engineering lot, all the parking in front of Anderson, B5, which is where the vet diagnostics lab is going to be built, and B17, which is the big Z lot north of the dorms. So we're losing all of this parking. K-State lacks the geography needed to build more parking. So how are we going to accommodate this loss? One of the things we're looking at as a department is looking at how we sell parking permits in the future. Do we restrict residents who live within walking distance from campus from purchasing a permit? Would that have any effect? I would say yes, but we're in the process of collecting that data now to see if there is some truth to that. I've been working with the city of Manhattan and the manager of the Aggieville Garage to look at possibly renting out space whenever rates go into effect into that garage. Is there a way that I can, as a department, rent out space in that garage and offer it to K-State students for additional parking? So there are options that we are looking at, but one of the options that has come to the forefront is a transit system. If the university moves forward with a transit system, it will be a student-led initiative, meaning that this is not something that my department or the university is going to pursue if the students do not approve it. Because in order to implement a comprehensive transit system on campus, we would have to implement a student transportation fee. And if that's not something that the students are willing to entertain, then we will not pursue it. So this is going to have to come from the student body, which is why I'm here today. Real quick, there are 3 options that you can look at when you're building a transportation system for a university. You could either do it in-house, so my department would be responsible for building out a transportation system. This includes purchasing all the vehicles, hiring all the people, carrying all of the insurance. It's a lot of very expensive upfront capital costs and is very costly to maintain. So I am not a fan of that option. We could expand AdaBus services. Currently, our department pays for 80% of the total AdaBus bill that is sent to the university. So that includes the 2 circular routes on campus and the east-west connector. And that's $140,000 annually that comes out of my department budget to pay for. We could use that transportation fee to give to AdaBus to do the transportation for us. There's a lot of mixed feelings about AdaBus. I recognize that. In doing so, we would not have any control over this system. We would not have say in operating hours. We would not have say necessarily in any routes that they would be able to provide for us or modification of those routes, and both in the actual route itself or timing of the routes. Or we could do what most universities do, is go a third-party vendor, which is the most economical route, and in my opinion, which would be the most beneficial option for K-State. And the reason why I say that is because the third-party vendor would be solely responsible for getting the equipment, maintaining the equipment, the hiring, the managing. But it would be led by the students. And what I mean by that is that if we were to hire a third-party vendor, whoever managed that program for the company would report directly to me, but I would create an advisory committee of students that would meet to help determine how the system is managed. So the students would decide on the routes. The students would decide on the time of the routes and would decide on any changes to those routes. In my opinion, if I'm going to ask the students for a transportation fee, the students need to be in control of the program. That being said, a third-party vendor would also, it would be easier and faster to launch a program and to make modifications because they have the resources available to them to provide us with the vehicles, to be able to pay the higher wages to keep the drivers, and to be able to switch and modify their routes as we see fit. This is what you could get with a transit fee. You would get, in addition to
The speaker's time has expired.
Chair Sharkey.
Move to extend the speaker's time by 4 minutes. Second.
Speaker's time is extended.
Okay, I will speak really fast. Okay, so a part of the transportation fee would pay for the bus system, but what you would get with that system, after doing the research, if we were to ask for, say, $40 a semester per student, that would fund multiple circulars on campus. We would create transfer stops between us and AdaBus. That would include routes. That would cover Greek life around campus, all the housing areas around campus, and the apartments that include like the apartments on College and Claflin and around the stadium. We could include a safe ride bus system that would operate till 3 in the morning that could pick students up from Aggieville and take them back to their dorms, or pick them up from parking lots and bring them back to their dorms. So those students that work late and get home at 11 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, have a safe shuttle home. We could provide airport shuttles for students to be able to get to the airport at either Manhattan or KCI. And we could provide ADA accommodations as well. in addition to a real-time tracking app that tells the users in real time where the shuttles are, how long it's going to be until the next shuttle comes to your stop, and integrated with our parking technology, so you could even see before you got to campus where parking was available and where the shuttles are to help get you to where you need to go. Yeah, and again, a continuous system and oversight by the students. Okay. Again, this is not something the university is moving forward with. This is not something that my department is moving forward with. This is a solution to the loss of our parking capacity, but this is only something that would move forward if the students supported it and the students wanted it. I do have a survey coming out on Monday for all students, faculty, and staff to see if this is something that they would also be interested in. And I'd like to note that faculty and staff, I would require them to purchase a bus pass to use the system. If the students are paying for it, I don't think the students should have to subsidize faculty and staff for using the system. I think I got everything in.
Senator Rudd?
Say the survey comes back with positive momentum. What is the timeline looking like as to when you're hoping to have this implemented?
So the timeline's going to be a little bit tricky. In order to implement a transit system, if we were to go, say, third party, I would have to put out an RFP or a request for proposal, and then I'd have to create an advisory board containing mostly students, faculty, and staff. The RFP process to vet these vendors is 3 to 4 months. If the students support it and say, yes, we're going to have a student fee, that would have to go in front of KBOR in May for approval. So if we're looking at a fall timeline, I would have to start the RFP process in January, beginning of February at the absolute latest, with the caveat that this only moves forward if KBOR approves the fee increase or the implementation of the fee. And then they could ramp up and be ready to go by the fall. So I would have to know whether or not the students support this and ask the SGA to present to KBOR in May.
Oh, Senator Freeman?
Yeah, do you have an idea of what the fee would look like, about how much and how it would affect students?
Sure. To get all of everything that I talked about, we'd be looking at about $40 per student a semester. The average transportation fee that I have come across, like with the Big 12, for example, runs anywhere between $50 to $150 annually. It really just depends on how big the program is.
Senator Glasscock?
Hi there. Thank you for talking with us today. Have you all done research on the ridership numbers for other universities' transport systems?
I have not, no. I know that if a transportation is not well utilized, they typically tend to cut back services. So I think that the degree of services offered at a university could tell you what its ridership looks like.
Senator Zacco?
For clarification, comparing like the programs of different Big 12 universities, how would you say that is comparable? I would say K-State's probably one of the most walkable campuses in the conference. How do you see that being something you can base it off of? It, for example, KU is spread out, super hilly, and they need transport to make it feasible.
Yeah.
I guess what are your thoughts?
So when we start to lose our parking capacity, we're going to have to look at ancillary lots or building ancillary lots around campus so that those that do commute and drive in have some place to park their car, and then they're walking further to where they need to go. So these lots would be like south of campus where Global used to be, or up near the stadium, for example. So if you're parking at the stadium, I would say that it's almost unrealistic to expect you to walk, say, to Kedzie or to McCain or even the business building to get to class. That's where the transportation system would help. by creating those park and rides and at least getting you to the main part of campus.
Senator Erickson.
So you guys are gonna get rid of surface lots. Why not put in more parking garages?
So there is a parking garage proposed on A6, which is that lot north of Justin. The cost is not feasible, to be blunt. The cost to build a parking garage now is going to be anywhere between $50,000 to $75,000 per stall. So to build the parking garage proposed there, you're looking at about $60 to $80 million. And the reason why it's so expensive is it's not just the construction of the parking garage, it's water retention. You would have to build in because the creek is right there, and that intersection at Bluemont and Anderson already floods. You would have to completely rebuild the entire traffic circle they just built and the intersection to accommodate that much traffic coming in and out of the garage at the same time every day. So that, and you would have to add a fire suppression system in the garage as well, which is now required by federal law. So that also increases the cost of the parking garage. Parking services cannot afford a bond payment on a $70-80 million structure. And in order for us to even cover the bond, we would have to sell parking at such a high cost that nobody would bother parking there because they just couldn't afford it.
Time for questions has expired.
Senator Perry.
I move to extend the time for questions by 4 minutes.
Second.
Okay, question time is extended. Senator Kramer.
So kind of also looking at the other Big 12 schools, when they've done these kind of transit things, what have they found to be the best? Like, have they created their own system, expanded the city's lines, or worked with a third party?
About 95% of the time, they either go third party or expand upon the city services. Unfortunately, the city of Manhattan doesn't have a bus system that we could piggyback off of or build off of. So we would be looking at either expanding out a bus or going third party.
Senator Perry.
Can you go back over like how we lost 10% of our parking spaces and kind of the decisions that what led to that happening?
So through the K-State master plan and building new buildings to accommodate our growth in multiple departments and to bring more value and more educational offerings to campus, they have to build more buildings, essentially. And the only available geography to do that is on my parking lots. I'm sorry, the university's parking lots.
I have a follow-up.
Granted.
So from what we're looking at, the university will be trying to attract more students is what we're looking at from those buildings. Is there an option that is not putting that bill on the students for that parking service since the university is actively attracting more students to this?
There is, if you look at, say, parking subsidizing the transportation system, we would have to increase the cost of parking significantly to cover that. Or if you were to charge people per ride, people would not ride it. It would have to appear to be free. And I'm using air quotes because right, we all know nothing is free, right? It's coming from somewhere, but studies have shown and other universities have shown that when you charge per ride, it's not ridden. Eventually.
Time for questions has expired.
Senator Glasscock.
I move to suspend the rules and extend speakers' time for questions by 3 minutes.
Second.
All right, it's been objected to. So all in favor of extending the speaker's time by 3 minutes, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. All opposed, same sign. All right, time for questions is extended. Senator Biswell.
Have you guys considered making like a pass for people who want to ride the bus, like people who would use it instead of charging all of students? Like, you know how you buy a parking pass that's people who park on campus, like having them buy a pass to use the bus so we don't have to burden every student with a $40 fee?
Yeah, again, it kind of goes back to the same philosophy of charging per ride. If you charge for it, even in like a bus pass, it's not going to be ridden. We would have to charge a bus pass almost the same rate as a parking permit, if not more, to cover the cost. And at that point, people are just, why would I spend more to ride a bus when I can spend less to park my car or attempt to park my car?
Senator Mitchell.
What are some selling points that you think could convince students that live really close to campus to still pay the fee? Like, I could see some students that live close to campus pushing back on, like, why should I have to pay a bus fee? But can you elaborate on, like, what the benefits are? I know you mentioned, like, being able to go to Walmart or stuff like that.
Yeah, no, we would service them with the bus routes. So if we were to say anyone who lives in the green and red zones, for example, on the other side of campus, if we were to say you live too close, you can't buy a parking permit, we would provide them with bus options. So we would have routes going through their neighborhoods, taking them to campus to offset the fact that we're not letting them purchase a parking permit. And they would also have access to all the other routes and the connecting routes to add a bus as well.
Chair Shirky.
So, of course, you're presuming that if we fund this, that and individuals that pay into the student service fee but don't operate the bus will still gain some benefit from the system through reduced strain on the parking, through the availability of more parking spots or some other method. How do you verify that? So what's your year 0 through 3 plan to say, okay, this is the actual ridership data we're getting, and this is how we need to adjust our routes in order to compensate? How are you making sure that the system is taking into account the actual situation of K-State students when it's being implemented?
So another benefit of going with a third-party vendor is that they have software built in to their buses that track ridership down to category, location, time, and provide you with real statistics on what routes are being used and how often and by whom. And then I can compare that with our occupancy data in the lots. Who's parking, what type of permits do we see most and during what times. I will say we are also working with the university on class scheduling because we have found that also greatly impacts our parking capacity. Our office has been working with the Department of Institutional Research to look at when classes are scheduled versus our parking occupancy, and no surprise, we have found that a majority of undergrad classes are scheduled at the same time every week. So, which Monday and Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. are our busiest times. That's when most of the classes are also scheduled. So we're working with them to see if there's some wiggle room in scheduling classes further apart so that everybody's not coming to campus at the same time.
Madam Speaker, follow-up.
Granted.
So, sorry, I had a question. Give me a moment.
Time for questions has expired.
Well, you're holding up the wrong placard. But Chair Black.
I move to to suspend the rules and extend the time by questionings by 5 minutes.
Second.
Okay, speaker's time is extended. Chair Black.
Yes, so, and I don't know what the feasibility of this K-State, but I just thought of it. Have you looked at options like freshmen living in the dorms not being able to have parking passes and stuff as well?
That is also common on many universities, that freshmen are not allowed to bring cars on campus. Just in casually mentioning that in circles on campus, that it was not popular at all. I'm not opposed to advocating for that. I don't see the university going in that direction, but that is something that I could definitely advocate for because it's not, I'm not opposed to it.
I am.
Okay. So you're just trying to figure out if that's something that's on the horizon or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Senator Dominguez.
So I actually used to go to KU, and they did make a good point. I know I'm gonna get hate for this, but if you miss a bus, it was like a 20-minute walk, and it's a very hilly campus. And then this campus, it's like 6 miles, the whole campus, because I ran it, which I'm crazy for. But the point is, there's multiple different parkings. Some people do buy a pass, of course, and then there's people that live close to like the business building and it's walkable. And then there's also like the scooters, that's transportation. And then also like places like in Aggieville where people can park from a certain time frame. I believe it's like 8 till 5 p.m.
Currently, yes.
Yeah, and that's free as long as you also have the app and you register your car. So I'm just trying to think how this could be beneficial.
So remember, the idea of a transit system is not to address our current parking situation. It's to address the master plan and us losing 1,000 stalls in the future with all the buildings that are being built on our current parking capacity. So that's what the idea of a transit system is trying to address.
Granted.
Question, are they gonna make it more accessible where the bus can kind of, because it's not really you can't really drive your car, I guess, much around this campus?
No, the idea is to make campus walkable. So for example, like all the parking in front of and around Anderson will be going away. And so the idea is to make it a walkable campus and pushing a majority of the parking along the perimeter.
Senator Zacco.
So I know you had previously mentioned having discussions with the parking garage in Aggieville about renting spaces, which I think is a great solution to the problem. Have you considered talking to the new parking lot that's going in on the opposite corner of Aggieville? Big parking garage, and since it's attached to a hotel, potentially renting during the weekdays when the stays are a lot lower. I think that would be.
Yeah, so that whole project is being built by Back Nine Development, and the owner of Back Nine, TJ Vilkanskis, and I talk frequently about that project because he defers to me for parking consultation, and that has come up. And so if there's an option there as well, then I'm going to take full advantage of that. Sure. But the amount of parking that they're looking at building, they may not have the capacity to host any students for us. If it is scaled down any further, I don't think that they would have the room, but it is an option that I've looked at, yes.
The speaker's time for questions has expired.
Anyone, if you have questions, you can email me. You can schedule some time with me. I can come meet you somewhere. It's my email address. Feel free to email me your questions or schedule a meeting with me if you have deep concerns. Again, this isn't something that the university is pushing or that we are moving forward with. This would be a 100% student-led initiative, and this would have to be something that the students would have to approve before we even went down the road. I'm just putting the idea out there now for feedback.
Very good. Okay, well, with that, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll move into are there any other first open period speakers? All right, so approval of the minutes. The minutes were distributed on Tuesday along with the agenda and legislation tracking information. Is there a motion to approve the minutes unanimously? Chair Black.
So moved.
All right, announcements this evening. All right, just to reiterate, streamline any communication to the comms agency. Please fill out the social media post request form. I guess there's also new faces in the room. So Andrew and I will have our speaker and speaker pro tem office hours. I have mine on Monday, Wednesday from 3:30 to 4:30, and then Andrew has his from Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 11. So if you have any questions about anything, you can feel free, or you just want to chat, you're in the union.
And we have candy.
Yes, well, we don't right now, but Andrew ate all of it.
Right.
Don't make a comment. All right, anyway. Okay, and then for our senator shout out this week, we are recognizing Senator Sam Barnes for her outstanding work in writing legislation for the Student Allocations Committee. Thank you, Sam, for stepping up and helping to write bills that approve essential funding for student organizations across campus. We appreciate your hard work and dedication. All right, and our quote for the week, do what you can with what you have where you are, by Theodore Roosevelt. All right. Now move into our approval of appointments. Is there a motion to consider Resolution 252636? Senator Glasscock.
I move to consider Resolution 36.
Will the author, perfect. Will the author please come forward?
Hello, everyone. If you remember my last time being here, no, you don't. Okay. Resolution 252636, approval of the 2026-2027 Attorney General. Authors Joseph Lilly and Katie Albertson, sponsors Senate Operations Committee. Thanks, guys. Whereas it is necessary to approve the Attorney General for the 2026-2027 academic school year, whereas this position was sufficiently advertised, whereas the application was made available to all students who showed an interest in Kansas State University Student Governing Association, whereas there were 5 applicants for the AG position, whereas the following individuals has been selected by the Attorney General Selection Committee, made up of 3 members of each branch, to serve on the basis of their leadership ability, experience, and dedication to serving Kansas State University's student body throughout the next term, and whereas the appointment is subject to approval by the Student Senate. Be it resolved that the following individual be approved to serve as the Attorney General for the 2026-2027 Kansas State University Student Governing Association term, Samantha Boniface.
All right, are there any questions or corrections for the author? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve resolution?
I forgot to ask permission, so Optus has to not be on this. I have 4 dirty looks. Yeah.
Dictator.
Senator Glasscock.
I move to approve Resolution 36 without the Senate Operations Committee sponsorship.
Wait, can we add a sponsorship?
You guys can add the sponsorship.
Yeah, I sure.
Everyone on Ops, raise your hand if you want to sponsor.
Joshua, raise your hand. Can you add Josh too?
Yeah.
And Ella.
Well.
Max wants to. And Chase too, actually. Anyone else? Last call. Did you get Max? Okay.
Who wants to be added on? I got you. Yes, Ella, I got you.
All right. Okay, well, resolution 36 stands approved. So, Sam, will you please come forward? Round of applause. Yay. There you go. Here's, yep, there. Here's your mic. Okay, she reads.
Okay, please raise your right hand.
Cappy, do you want me to move?
And respond with, I will. Okay. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Attorney General and will, to the best of my abilities, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
I do.
I will.
I will.
Okay, please introduce yourself. Give us your name, your major, your hometown, and then your favorite smell.
Hi everyone, I'm Samantha Boniface. I'm very excited to serve as Attorney General. I'm a junior studying agricultural economics on the pre-law track, originally from Roseland, Nebraska, in the south central part of the state. Katie told me not to say something weird, but my favorite smell is distillers. It's a byproduct of ethanol, and you feed it to cattle and it smells real darn good. So yeah, I'm very excited. Thank you guys.
All right, everyone stare at them awkwardly while we're waiting.
Yay!
Congratulations. Pro Tem
I
Lee.
have a point of information. If you guys didn't know Samantha Boniface, she's Meatball. She's Mommy Meatball. If you didn't know, the myth, the legend is now our Attorney General. So congrats to her.
All right, also, any emerging leaders that were not sworn in the last 2 weeks, please come forward and we will go ahead and get you sworn in right now and introduce you to your mentors. Do you want this mic, Katie?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You guys can line up here. There's your office.
Okay, raise your right hands and say "I will" at the end of this. Okay, I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Phase 2 mentee and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Okay, so if you want to introduce yourself to everyone, name, major, hometown, favorite smell.
Okay, hi everyone. My name's Kaylin Jameson. My major is pre-nursing, and my hometown's Kansas City. And then my favorite smell would be vanilla.
Hi everyone, my name is Annika Nair. My major is advertising and public relations. My hometown is Manhattan, Kansas, and my favorite smell is probably freshly mown grass.
Hi guys, I'm Addison Conrad and I'm from Lake Winnebago, Missouri. I'm double majoring in political science and management, and my favorite smell right now is like pumpkin spice.
Okay, so, just them? Okay, do you want to do it like right there? Well, the mentors are coming up. If you want to do a picture of them now. Okay, if you have not gotten your mentee yet, Sheriff Fatu, get up here. What are we doing? We have one more. So sorry. She was hiding. Yay, one more. Okay, well, we're going to do another picture. Okay, I'm going to speed run this. You ready? Okay, say "I will" at the end. Okay. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Phase 2 mentee and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
I will. Yeah, okay, there we go.
Okay, name, major, hometown, favorite smell.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Sherifat Zakari. I'm a first-year grad student in the A.Q. Miller School of Media and Communication Studies, and I'm originally from Ghana. And I would say my favorite smell right now is pumpkin spice as well, because I like pumpkins. I noticed during when was I think during the pumpkin season or something like that. Yeah, the fall season, yeah. So I like pumpkin spice. So thank you, everyone.
Okay, so we'll do another picture. She tried to hide from me, but I saw her. I spotted her. Okay, so if you have not gotten your mentee yet, we have 4 mentees ready to meet their mentor. If you don't know, yours isn't here yet. Don't give me eyes like that. I'll talk to you about him. Yeah, does everyone, I guess, don't give it away, but if anyone doesn't know. Anyone? Okay, so if you guys want to line up and turn that way, we're going to reveal your mentors. So turn around, and then when we say go, you're going to turn around, and your mentor will be behind you. Okay, guys, come on up. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Yes, I'm Willow too. I'm political science.
Oh, he's taking you around. You want to do that? We can do that. Or you remember now. Oh, okay, so you were the number. Okay. Well, I know, so we have a couple. They're like, hey, the students are here for like 15 minutes, so and then I'll be back and I will never meet over there. Very cool. I was like, you're saying that you're not so good. I don't know how I'm gonna be her mentor. She seems so cool. After sitting around. Yes.
All right, perfect. Now we're going to move into our committee reports. So are there any committee chairs that would like to report tonight? Chair Black.
I had mine up first.
You win best outfit, by the way.
Oh, thank you. If I don't win the best outfits to Senate superlative this year, I will be upset. This is not campaigning. I'm just throwing that out there. You can choose whether or not you care if I'm upset about it. Anyways, Bill 51, allocation to American Institute of Chemical Engineers. We did not get to on Monday. Their event's in April. I'll let them know about it, and we'll approve it, or we'll vote on it first meeting of next semester.
Any questions?
Sports clubs is also out. It is done tonight. Shout out to the committee. Lots of hours and thought went into this. I'm very proud of every last one of them.
How sweet. All right, Chair Alvarez.
Yeah, it's just a spreadsheet. I don't have a presentation. No, I'm not that bougie.
I love your earrings. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. They have jingle bells on.
I love it.
It's been bothering me all day. Okay. Hi. I just wanted to give you guys an update of what CEC's been doing, because the first half of the semester we didn't have anything on the floor because we didn't have anything done yet with the legislation, and then when that passed, we started pushing them for Senate approval. So this is the current running budget. We have not received very many allocations, and I talked to, or applications, I talked to my advisor about it, and it's just been a slow year because of all the changes. There's been a lot of confusion. I've had a lot of talks with other org presidents about trying to find the application and then trying to submit and actually getting events done, especially with all of the changes going on with internally with them and then also with us and an SGA. So this is currently what we've got going right now. The last one is highlighted because that will be something that we pick up back in the spring semester. So I'll write that legislation and then introduce that this next session that we come back. I mean, this is pretty much it. I just wanted to present you guys with the information that I have. We had a lot of successful applications and a lot of good conversations. I think the committee did a really good job at trying to approve applications and get some good content, good comments, and good things from all of these wonderful events. A lot of us went to the events. I went to two, the Asian night market that they did, and then I did Dia de los Muertos with the Hispanic American Leadership Organization. Both very successful events, got a whole ton of students there. It was a really good time. Another project that we're working on currently is a survey that we sent out to students. They basically put in areas that we thought were problem areas for campus. A lot of them I reviewed were parking, but we're gonna go through that went in the spring semester and try to come up with a plan to create a project or a big initiative. That's just something that the committee wanted to do this year, and I thought it was a really good idea. I think that's everything, though. Is there any questions?
All right, thanks, Alondra. Are there any other committee chairs that would like to give a report tonight?
I'll give it.
Chair Shirky.
Two things. First thing, survey is done. I'll be doing a report on that. It's got data for things like parking, student health, critical areas, how send that out, and that's the raw data is available in the Teams. The main topic of this is one of the areas that SOC is working on this year is campus parking and transportation. In that context, myself and my colleagues in the executive branch have been on something called the Council on Parking Operations. This is an administrative and student and staff like joint team that works directly under Parking Director Tucker and has been involved with the strategic planning of that rate case you just saw earlier today. And so myself, Director Carton, Benji Carton, and Director Audrey Byers from the executive branch are both able to are all able to answer questions on this parking administrative side. I'll give a brief as to the student perspective on that thing you just saw. So this came up at the beginning of fall. The original conversation was, how does parking pay for deferred maintenance? Because right now they have enough bond payments, which is just remediating debt from prior like parking garages, that they're not able to repair lots that are in older condition. This means that if there's a severe weather event and like one of the parking lots is destroyed, it's more economical to bulldoze the entire thing and replace it. Just because it's economical doesn't mean it feels cheap for the students. So the conversation was, how do we deal with that? Then the campus master plan was completed, and we learned that our wonderful administration has decided to remove about 1,000 parking spots. The options that you've seen there were not all the options that were discussed. They were all the options that even had a chance of viability. So you construct a new parking garage, and you can raise the parking permit to $1,300. That seems like a non-starter. That was the opinion of the student members. You can create a bus and have it funded entirely through point of use purchase, which means you show up, you give them your debit card. This is viewed as a non-starter because data from other peer institutions has shown that ridership essentially plummets when the service is not free at point of use. At some intuitive level, this should make sense, because if you are a new freshman and you're going to campus and you see a giant bus with the K-State logo and you show them your student ID and they say, I don't accept your student ID, I need cash, you're not going to use that service. Which is why the discussion then turned to, how do we appropriately fund a system to be free at point of use? The reason that the group is even considering going to student government dollars is because that is the alternative in which the student government is allowed to provide much needed oversight of the parking system. Currently, the position that we're in is one where the actual mechanics of if student government chooses to support parking in some way, we have, at least unofficially, we have a concession that the institution that makes the parking rules and regulations will have a mandatory student presence, and the institution that sets the bus routes will have a mandatory student majority. That's the only way we'd actually be allowed to fund it in accordance with student government regulations. And this is, of course, in contrast to if President Linton builds a new parking garage and takes $80 million for it and does not have student oversight. That's most of the discussion that myself and my colleagues in the executive branch have been having, is how do we increase student control and oversight of this institution. And then last is we looked at, and this came up in the thing, we looked at how do we make the campus as drivable as possible with a bus system. So what that means is, I forgot what it's called. I think it's called like long-term ride or long-distance ride parking, where it's basically you get a parking garage offsite, such as the one in Aggieville, and the bus route just goes from the parking garage to like the Union. And the idea is that this is used for commuting students, and so they come in early in the day, spend their entire day walking the walkable campus, and then come back. One of the important aspects of that is that if you want to do that, you need to support the fancy word is micro-mobility. It just means bikes and scooters. So you need to build infrastructure for that. That is Director Carton's specialty in that also was the focus of last year's executive branch. VP O'Malley did some great work with the new electric scooter company you see. And obviously that is a lot cheaper than the bus system, and that supports the walk-in campus operations. That also has mandatory student input. And then last is things like Safe Ride. And in addition to transport to Aggieville, which is useful for obvious commercial reasons, that's a nice way to put it. And those sorts of non-campus but campus-adjacent travel needs, those have to be covered in any bus solution, which is why there are students on these, will be students on these committees, so that they have control over the routes. Because this is a third-party vendor system, we're allowed to give them data from our ridership demand. Actually, in our student issue survey this year, we collected our first year of data on ridership locations in order to inform routage, and they'll be doing the same. So I will field any questions about the student issue survey in general, and more specifically about regulatory oversight and consultations with the parking system.
Chair Lilly.
Could you or SOC look into why the campus master plan thinks they need to dose all of our parking lots for buildings when the number of students is going to shrink here pretty quickly?
Yeah, so the reason is because it's not going to shrink now, it's going to shrink later, in 5 years. What they expect to make up the general demographic decline with off-campus and commuters. That's why they say 30,000 learners, 25,000 learners, is they're trying to get off-campus students in order to shore up the lack of in-state students. I don't know why they think they will get another 5,000 students, but they're very convinced that they will. And so their current plan, from what I've seen, basically all of the parking solution is negotiable. How much this is done by like new parking garages, how much it's done by buses, how much it's done by bikes and scooters is negotiable, except for the removal of those parking spots. Now, the boring technical answer is that even if you could prove to administration that there was not going to be enough enrollment to justify these new buildings, it would still be an economically viable option to destroy those parking lots. And that's because they're so out of date, they're decades old and not maintained. It is actually still more profitable and cheaper for students to bulldoze those 932 parking lots and then build something else in their place, because long-term weather fatigue has rendered them unrepairable. That is a decades-old problem, and if you want to talk about deferred maintenance, you can talk to President Kappelman and Vice President Casey Lauer, who have been working on that and recently allocated millions from the state.
Granted.
So the university's expecting an increase in off-campus learners and wants to build more on-campus buildings for those off-campus learners?
Not virtual. Good question. Living off-campus, transiting to campus. Important clarification. They expect there to be increase in demand for building lab space, office space, things like that.
Senator Shaw Hayes.
Do you know how many total parking spaces K-State has right now?
I don't remember that off the top of my head, but yes, they do have that information. I don't remember the exact number. What I do know is the ratio. Approximate ratio of students on campus who are using vehicles against parking spaces we have, right? Just as an example, in a big city like Detroit, that number might be like 2, 4, 8 to 1, because of course you need a parking spot at the grocery store, you need a parking space at your place of work, you need a parking space at the movie theater, you need a parking spot at the school, blah, 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 blah. At K-State, the ratio is like 1 to 1.2. And at least it was last year when I worked with Benji on that. And that is what you would call a barely passable ratio. So what that means is you feel like it takes you forever to find a parking spot, and that's because it does. There's technically enough capacity, but some of it's in reserve stalls, some of it is in faculty-only stalls, that it's not usable capacity, which is why they're looking at a bus system. Because even if you pay the fee and you don't use the bus, if somebody else uses the bus, you free up a parking spot for you, which is why it's in the interest of drivers to support the bus system.
Senator Glasscock.
K-State has 11,900 total parking spots.
Thank you.
Senator Perry.
And about like 3,000 of those have to be used for faculty, because faculty love cars. Maybe 2,500. But faculty and staff love using vehicles, whereas students are acceptable to not doing that. This should intuitively make sense because they're working professionals.
Senator Perry.
Do you know who's in charge of the master plan, and have you spoken with them at all?
Yeah, so ostensibly it's the president level, the university president. A lot of that is done by the guy who's in the corner, who didn't speak but is available for questions, Vice President Casey Lauer, who is in charge of facilities. Parking mainly takes orders in the context of the master plan. So the president knows what direction the university is going, what degree programs they want to open up, right? They send that to facilities, which allocates, these are the additional buildings we would need, and then Casey gives that order to the parking director and says, congrats, we're going to have more staff and less room, figure it out. That's why they're here.
Senator Trump.
In regards to us losing over 1,000 parking spaces, was there any
almost 1,000?
Almost.
Continue.
I said almost. And was there any thing the students could have said is this just us being uneducated and we didn't look into it? It's like, oh hey, by the way, fuck you guys. I meant screw you guys. I'm sorry.
All right.
Don't do that.
My bad.
It's live streamed.
I know. My bad.
I think that yes. So the problem is that this is a tactical problem that the student government faces every year. Because the master plan is a 5 or 10 plus year out plan, what happens is in 2023 and 2024 is when they make the decisions and they do the surveys, and students are not required to be in that master plan room. Typically the SOC chair will just do that on their own initiative, which is why I was in this parking thing. Prior Chair Koch interacted with the master plan, but there's not a lot of required legislative branch involvement with the master plan. So it's literally this government does not know about it and cannot advocate for a policy solution until we're in this position where we're starting to get funding requests. That is a serious strategic concern, and that is something that I will be attempting to address later in the year, but the fact is that for reasons that are obvious, if not necessarily good, it's in the administration's interest to set the master plan on their own level with their own strategic priorities rather than contemporary students' priorities.
Time for questions has expired.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Shirky. Are there any other committee chairs that would like to give a report tonight?
Me.
Chair Lilly.
Okay, I will make this quick because this has been a while. I have paused on recruiting new senators, and there are a couple people that are up for expulsion on absences. All that's going to happen in the spring because I've found that adding people just before summer or just before winter break, you tend to lose like 90% of them if they join Senate just before one of those. So I've waited, but that is going to get done in the spring. Same with the hearings for absences.
Senator Zacko.
Can we fill vacant spots with interim senators? Because I'm saying we can, but is that something we could do?
Yeah, that's a spring. They have to be in phase 2, and they've not been in phase 2 long enough for me to. We have to work together to do that. For them to be an interim senator, they have to be in phase 2.
Correct.
And yeah, I guess we could have done that this meeting, but then.
There's a few people that have been coming to every meeting, workshops, all the other things. There's people if you need people to fill in. I'm just saying.
I think we have like 57 of 60. So oh no, 56. Can I be done?
Yep. All right, any other committee chairs that would like to give a report? Are there any directors that would like to give a report tonight? Director, wait. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'll come up and say my name.
Okay, hi everyone. I'll make this quick. I just have to share this opportunity with you guys. So I'm Eric Shapland. I'm the PR director for on Cabinet. So I'm up here to just share with you guys the opportunity I received to be a part of K-State's Day of Giving campus events work group to basically help plan and give student input on the Day of Giving event coming up in April. They reached out to me specifically to get input on how SGA could partner or get involved in the event this year. So for anyone who doesn't really know what the event is, it's basically a 24-hour campus-wide celebration and fundraising event. So they usually have like a big presence here on campus throughout the whole day with tabling on Bosco Plaza with like food and giveaways and music, etc. So this year they really want to push for more student engagement. And so I think their thought process behind reaching out to me was that SGA funds so many student organizations. They just see SGA as a great partner within this Day of Giving and want us to be present at the event because that's basically what the event is all about, is getting funding. So I think it's a really strong opportunity for SGA to highlight what our whole mission is about, which is, you know, essentially to support student organizations and student life here at K-State. I'm not for sure what this could look like, but just to give you kind of a baseline for coming up with some ideas, we could have a booth on the plaza the day of the event, just to showcase how we support orgs, or maybe a student org challenge where groups could enter to win some bonus funding, a social media campaign, something along those lines. There's just not really a solidified idea yet, because what they kind of provided with me was pretty not enough information. So I'm seeking for any feedback, input, or suggestions for how we could get involved with the event. So they just want to hear back from me at our next meeting on December 16th. So just reach out to me if you think of any ideas before then. I sent out an email and a Teams message with a link to further information about this. So yeah, just let me know if you have any ideas. I think it'll be a great opportunity. Thanks.
Any questions? All right, well, you're good. Director Hoffman or Commissioner Hoffman.
Hello, people. Last week I came up here and talked about the wonderful Elections Promotions Commission, no longer called Council, and I'm still looking for people to serve on that board. And so if there's just, okay, talk to me. And so still looking for people, but I've got some names I know. But it's essentially, if you have any good ideas to get SGA out to the student populace, it's a great way to do it. We'll be working pretty intensively with Cappy's comms agency, hopefully make that partnership within SGA really strong, so that way we can really get some good content out to the student body.
Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Did you have a question?
No, I have point of information.
Oh, all right, Chair Lilly.
But that needs to get filled soon. They typically start like immediately in the spring. So anyone who's interested, he might check his email off for the break.
Oh, I will. At least once a week.
All right, are there any other directors that would like to report tonight? Okay. All right, and finally, we have College Caucus time. So I'll go ahead and give you guys just about 15 minutes. So be back in here by like 8:35.
What are we doing? Like very specific?
Oh, Andrew, I'm sorry. I should have let Andrew speak to that. Hang on just a second, everyone.
This is the last time for you guys to connect together for the break. I know some other caucuses had stuff to talk about, so. And also, I sent an invite out to all the caucus leaders. I know, Katie, that doesn't work for you. I know it doesn't work for other people, but if you have any updates, just like email me back because that's the best time that could have worked for all of us to meet on Monday.
What time?
4 p.m.
I can do that.
Okay. It said you weren't available, but on the when to meet.
Well, that's because originally I wasn't going to.
Okay. Well, you got the invite, so perfect.
To the spot.
It should be. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be done. Committee chair that didn't.
EW is my number one off right now for sending it to the whole band. He should have sent it to us. So we could be like, guys, we need this. A million group meeting notifications. Dibs. Owen is texting me. He says, if you're going off C Nordis, you understand that this likely will be televised. And I said, oh, we will try our best. And he says, I completely understand. Just know that since Trace is gone, if he hears of a subpar performance from someone else or from a video, he's going to flip. And I said, bruh. I said, if you're trying to persuade me, you're going to have to do better than that. And he said, I do not care about my stance. And I said, ooh. He was not supposed to be talking.
Yeah, hey, great, that's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Evan, could you send me the Zoom link so that way I can get grad school?
Oh, yeah.
I object. And that's everything. Let's try. Oh, how much is James out here? Your coffee? Yeah. Who won the prize? Best
The power of this Russian food right now.
I like that. What's that?
I don't mind actually going down whenever we have meetings. I should go. But we haven't met, so I just went actually. No, I'm graduating in May. No, I'm senior, so no, I'm not.
If you don't want to, I'm an advisor, we can take care of the classes. Freshman year comes.
So busy. Someone.
Pay attention, Jacob.
I just want to say thank you again for meeting. Nate is super excited. I already told them, and we're just waiting for Dawn. Looks like it'll be on Monday. So once I get that, I'll let everyone know we meet over in the SGO. Perfect.
Or I can look and see if the conference is available. If not, there's like other.
Okay. Perfect. And then when I was talking to Nate tonight about that, he told me that you were also very helpful in getting the third floor accountant renovated. No, but that space is amazing. I love, before it just looked so dingy. I hated having meetings up there. It's like torture to me. It was horrible. I see people up there all the time. Not every Friday, every other Friday when I have meetings up there. I always see students studying in there, so it was a good use of space. So good job.
Thank you.
You know, especially if you're in a group like this fall. I have this one project in class, and it's just not everybody works the same way.
So far.
I know. There's not that deep. Yeah, there are 3 weeks of January, December.
Yeah.
We don't know the answer.
Play some games.
That's good.
I don't know how to do it here.
You have to do a breakout, right?
That's the how.
Alright. So, do you do research on the board?
So let's participants choose their round.
Time when you really just shut it down, get the learning.
No, I try to get caught up. I'll actually spend some more time in the lab with my students trying to help them out and actually check on those projects.
She's very
Get all
excited.
this other people that don't filter out just separate.
You got worse.
We're doing so much more with so much less.
Can I get you to open?
Yeah, we were talking this over. Maybe just as take out as
Yes.
systems, but it may not be the right song.
Yeah, yeah.
It's already contract.
Did I miss anything? But I wanted to talk about some
It's not
It's like the first letter stands
Yes, yes.
Oh, no, you do that. Program together right now.
That was really amazing.
Nobody knows.
We don't know anyone else in here except for each two. Yeah, but we don't know you socially, right? Yeah. No, not yet. You sound kind of sad. You guys have a group.
One of our retail numbers is what we designed in your dining room.
What is that?
Subtly announced promotion.
I'm only affected I'm on the well-being.
On the rocks. Part of this is once again, culture, so 20% of your students. So
I like the history. I appreciate
I work sort of at this juncture.
I run the RE too. The last kudos. It's an
Yeah, next to Durham. Durham's been renovated. Smaller scale. We're gonna be using bordering. You're gonna actually but we don't want to do that because that costs us. This venue is much more scalable. Short term, quick turnaround. These little.
big dining hall with doors, mysterious back area.
That's it. No, I've been around. Serve soda. Yeah, milk, lemonade, tea. Right? That was your choice. We didn't really present that just to dietitian. Soda's not everything. They're probably right.
Oh, yeah.
Traditions of.
That's it. I'll take care of that. I think right around the corner. Spencer would be great.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what's funny.
that's your Sunday.
Well, is there anything else? I mean,
Compensation. So we make some adjustments to the costs and later. We run as a business. You gotta stand on the things.
You're still looking after the students. That's good. About K-State.
There's revenue that comes in. Oh, yeah. We're two opportunities.
Okay.
1950.
I think I'll but I'm glad that we
Oh, yeah, it's for what?
grad position.
I'll tell you what, where the money went.
Between 35 and 40%. Which when you think about it, all
I don't know.
we're letting out
They promised them last summer.
But yeah, we can go back and like, that's a mouthful. So we would just, I would
So they said, yeah, you'll get it in 3 to 5 years. So yeah, this year, last summer,
Literally,
and they promised it for last summer, and then they
That's like, wait, right? I realize that's that is completely fine. I have 4 hours. Like I can't think.
I don't know. So K-State, does K-State?
I totally meant so much. No, but I agree. The opposite I know. She's just here talking about
and it's an easy.
Yeah,
It's called but it's actually pretty nice. It's really nice.
Yeah. Yes. She just gives if it gets less, it's still a problem.
Once I start,
If it costs more to make a piece of work, I don't. So like, there is hypothetically enough.
All right, everyone go ahead and move back to your seats. Hope you all had a super productive conversation. All right, we'll give everyone another second to get back to their spots. All right. Okay, next up we have our approval of allocations. Is there a motion to approve allocations for bills 25, 26, 44, and 46, both of which were referred favorably from SAC? Is there a motion? Senator Rudd. Is there a motion to approve the allocations?
Did you say me?
Senator Rudd, yes.
Sorry. I move to approve both the allocations
Is there a second?
unanimously.
Perfect. All right, the allocations stand approved. All right, and next up we will move into final action. So we have Bill 252652. Will the author please come forward? All right, and this is the increase of the Student Legal Services Student Services Fee Agreement, which was referred favorably from SSF 9 to 0 to 0. Yes, Senator Shirkey. Or Chair, huh? What? He's going to be back in like just a second. He's going to be back in. Were there any changes made in committee?
No substantive changes were made in committee. Just correcting some little typos and whatnot.
Perfect. You have first rights to debate.
Having student legal services on campus is sort of a form of insurance for students. It's a safety net that we provide. Hopefully, you'll never be in a situation where you need to use student legal services. However, as we deal with our own things and venture out into adulthood, it becomes very likely that we will. Whether that is a dispute with your landlord, or you get a parking ticket from the city, or you get an MIP. It is very costly for us to have student legal services. However, the committee deemed that it is an essential service that saves students who need it a ton of money. So for the investment that we put in, our ROI is far more than we're spending. The previous salary was $86,000. We're at a point where that is no longer livable. A lawyer has a lot of expenses they have to cover. They're very highly educated. They have probably years of student loans. We cannot fill that position at the current salary, so we are left with the decision to either cut this service or to increase their salary to a hireable wage that is markedly competitive. So hopefully we are able to hire somebody with this increase who will stick around and be an integral part of our institution, just like Sarah Barr was for years. And we can train up good people and make sure they're doing good work for our students with this money, and we're getting our money's worth from our student legal services.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there any debate in the negative? Senator Holzmeister.
Tonight, I stand up here in opposition to this proposed increase in the funding for student legal services. Since joining student government, I've been consistent. The greatest barrier to education is the rising cost of attendance. And tonight we have the chance to prevent a policy that adds yet another financial burden on students. For too long, Student Governing Association has operated under the assumption that the solution to every problem is to spend more of the students' money. We see an issue and we add a fee, but we owe it to students to be honest about what that really means. Every time we increase a fee, even by a few dollars, we are chipping away at the financial stability of our peers. We are taking money from students, working jobs to afford tuitions, and charging them for services they will never use. In trying to be helpful, we risk making this university less accessible. That is not supporting students, that is adding financial pressure. Our mission should be to lower the barriers to education, not to build up new financial hurdles. Tonight's debate is a chance to distinguish between essential needs and optional luxuries. And the truth is that student legal services falls squarely into the luxuries category. We will hear that students need this, but the students have spoken through their actions. A service that remains consistently underutilized is not a safety net, it's an unnecessary tax. And inevitably, someone will say, it's only $5. What's the big deal? That attitude is the big deal. It is never just $5. It's $5 here, $10 there, $20 somewhere else, as we can see with the whole transportation fiasco. In this room, we look at each fee in isolation, but for the students paying the bill, these fees stack up quickly. To a student counting every hour at their part-time job or weighing which textbook they can afford to skip, there is no such thing as an insignificant charge. We cannot claim to care about affordability while nickel and diming the very people we represent. Some will argue that students simply don't know about the service, but Legal Services has advertised broadly to Greek life and the union across social media. The issue isn't awareness. The issue is that students are choosing not to use it. Why should the entire student body be forced to subsidize a service that the vast majority don't want? Others will try to frame this fee as insurance. But look at the math. Insurance works when the underlying risk is real and widely shared. Here, the risk for the average student is near zero. Most students will never need legal representation for criminal charges or misdemeanors. So the deal we are offering them is for them to pay 100% of the financial cost for a benefit that you have less than 1% chance of ever receiving. That isn't insurance, it's a bad investment. That is not insurance, that is a bad investment. We are asking students to bet against themselves, to pay a guaranteed money for protection against a hypothetical problem that almost none of them will face. Then we get the lease review argument. We're told this fee ensures fair housing, but there's a glaring flaw in this logic. A huge portion of the student body lives in residence halls. They pay this fee just like everyone else. Yet because their landlord is the university, Student Legal Services is prohibited from representing them in any housing dispute. Think about that. Freshmen and other on-campus residents are forced to pay for housing protection service that they are banned from using. That is inequitable and absolutely not something we should expand. So I do not oppose legal resources. I oppose forcing already stretched students to fund a resource that they cannot and will not use, and we do not need at scale. Our responsibility is to the students, not finding new ways to tax them. I urge you all to vote no, to vote against higher fees, to vote against charging students for services that they reasonably will not benefit from, and to vote to keep focus where it belongs, that ensuring that education remains affordable, accessible, and fair.
Debate in the negative. Is there any further debate in the positive? Chair Shirky.
Point of information.
Chair Black.
What happens if we vote no on this bill? Or if it's like not approved?
Yeah, so like is there like a continued contract of some sort, or?
Would it just revert? Go ahead.
If we vote no on this, it ends in the summer, and we can't pass anything this term to this effect. So if you want to pass anything that is remotely to this effect, table it indefinitely, and then write something else. Or I guess
or we would have to reconsider the legislation after which we could hypothetically do, but we never do.
So you can't like say no to a bill and then introduce something that's substantially the same. So if you want to do another version of this, table it indefinitely. If you don't want to do anything like this, say no. If you want to do exactly this, obviously say yes.
All right, go ahead.
So obviously the open is that, a vote against this bill is a vote against any plausibility of legal support for students in the duration of the term. The prior speaker raised a lot of very good points. It is incredibly important that we consider each and every cent that we take from our students. consider what happens if we as a government cease to provide legal support to the student body as a consequence, right? If it becomes known to the market of Manhattan that students have lost a key source of legal protection, what do you think landlords are going to do? What do you think businesses are going to do to the cost that students incur, the cost of living for a student in Manhattan? This is only utilized by, I think, like 1% of students because we deterred the market from engaging in predatory cost increases for 99% of students. 99% of students don't get into situations where they need legal services because we have a functioning, robust legal program. This serves as a protection for students and ensures that any potential bad actors that would want to violate the rights of students can be 100% confident that there will be people on staff that are ready to fight them and fight for students. Some of this is going to go to people that have been, alleged to have done some bad act, right? They're going to be defending people from, legal issues. And some of it is going to be protecting people from others, right? Things like this, as well as other institutions like CARE, supports people that are victims of domestic violence, right? Supports people that are in such a bad situation that they don't know who to go to for help. Most importantly, it protects people who do not have the financial ability to ask for help, right? Without a university-funded legal system, you push that cost onto the individual people that are interacting with the legal system. Individual alleged victims, individual alleged perpetrators now have to lawyer up whenever they get into a complex situation. This means that the overall cost on the student body has been raised because now everyone is paying a lawyer's hourly rate when they need it instead of a single lawyer on retainer for the entire institution. Not passing this increases the net financial burden on the students because it increases the cost they pay at point of use. But it gets worse. If students know that they are guaranteed to have to foot the bill, that there's no world in which they get legal support from the university, they will be deterred from getting lawyers. People that are already in a financially dangerous situation, right, that are going into debt are gonna say, do I really need an attorney to fix this problem? Costs like $100 an hour. I bet I can fix it on my own. And they're gonna be wrong nearly every time. And so the net cost on our voters is going to be raised. Our students are going to be less able to get a fair and just outcome from the legal system if they do not have the means to engage with that legal system. What that means fundamentally is this. We can pass this and we can pay for a service that only 1% of students use. Or we can vote against this and we can compel, by market necessity, maybe 5% of students might engage with the legal system if this deterrent aspect is lost. If every student now has to fend for themselves, we increase the net cost on our voters. That is why we as an elected government have not only the legal authority, but the moral authority to pass this bill. Because we know that this is a tax on everyone and a benefit for the few. We know that going in. But we also know that the benefit, that the detriment of not passing this threatens the safety and the security and the quality of life of every one of our voters. And that is why we should vote for this bill. Thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Is there any further debate in the positive? Senator Halstead.
Hi, this is going to be quick, but I just wanted to give numbers for numbers people. From August 1st to November 3rd, there were 55 cases seen by SLS. That's not including any of the background work or anything. I don't think that that's an insignificant number. That's quite a lot, especially considering the gravity of the cases that are being seen. Students have to be kind of in a dire circumstance. So to hear that many people are using this service, especially in that short period of time, shows that this is a utilized service. So keep that in mind.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Is there further debate in the positive? Commissioner Hoffman.
Numbers are great, as the previous speaker said, and lawyer is utilized here. But it doesn't speak to the full extent of the work that the lawyers do. The previous attorney, Sarah Barr, went out during Fake Patty's Day, other high traffic, I'll say, areas of drinking, and went to fraternities and Greek life, and educated them about the harms, or not harms, but like the legal system and how to stay safe. When I was on the search committee for the replacement this last semester, the applicant that we had was really passionate about going out to students and really informing them directly about the legal system. Sarah Barr came to us, SGA, I think a year or two ago. And her presentations, you remember them, and they are good and funny. And I know, because I was on the search committee last time, students' input is going to be valued in the search for the new person, and they're going to be just as likely to be involved in the student populace as Sarah Barr was. So, oh yes.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Is there further debate in the positive? Senator Zatko.
Okay, so I'm sure most of you who know me and know kind of the way I tend to lean on issues will know that I hate fee increases. I hate making the cost of college higher and less accessible to students. And again, I hate fee increases. However, I think that this is something that's very beneficial to students. And to be completely transparent, my freshman year, I was faced with a situation where I had to go to court and I had no clue what I was doing and I was very scared and I didn't even know that student legal services was an option for me. And so I think that having someone on the staff who's able to serve students and, you know, advertise the service more potentially, I think it's something that's very valuable to help students who are facing new scenarios that they don't know how to handle themselves. Coming to college is a huge transition. And for a lot of people, that transition can, you know, cause them to make mistakes, or even so much as a speeding ticket, you can go to court for that. And having someone that you can go to and get definitive answers, I think is very valuable. And we're talking $5 a semester or whatever, which I know is like, it adds up, but $5. Also, one thing that I think is much more, not solemn's not the right word, but much more serious, I guess, is the CARE office and the number of people they help with sexual assault cases. And we know on college campuses that sexual assaults are wildly underreported. But we do know that undergraduate students, by the time they graduate from a 4-year program, 20% of women and 6% of men in undergraduate programs will have faced attempted or actual sexual assault. And again, that's just what's reported on, which is really scary. So I think for those students, we're talking minimum 26% of students that report these sexual assaults, to have someone they can go to and say, what are my options here? You know, potentially taking their attacker to court or, you know, pressing charges is something that is terrifying to have to handle on your own. And so I think this is a no-brainer for $5 a semester. Having that service available to students is something that is beyond worth it. So vote yes.
Seeing as that was a debate in the positive, is there any further debate in the negative? All right, is there any further debate in the positive? Chair Black.
I honestly kind of walked in here, I'll be brief, but I kind of walked in here being like, you know, honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about student legal services, just because I think about our entities we fund as a whole on student service fee, I think about like how they're operating right now, and I know that it's not feasible to keep increasing everything. But I think that this one, I think what most compelled me to change my mind was Jacob's argument that like it's not just the actual legal services as much as it's the education that they provide. I remember when Sarah Barr came and talked to us last year, I learned a lot from that I did not know that could have saved me from getting into a sticky situation. And I don't know, it's also in the Sixth Amendment that you have the right to attorney. So I found that kind of interesting. I just thought of that.
Seeing as that was a debate in the positive, is there any further debate in the negative? Is there further debate in the positive? Oh, sorry about that, Chair Lilly.
How many of you have car insurance?
Everybody better raise their hand.
At a certain point, socialism looks like insurance, whatever you want to call this. It costs us $800 per case if we go and pay a lawyer on our own. If we hire one at the university, it costs us, I think we calculated like $425 per case per student. That's a lot cheaper. And most of the time when you get, well, I won't say most time, a significant amount of the time when you get into these situations, it's with a landlord, and it's not necessarily the student's fault. So this is kind of just like more of an insurance thing than we're providing some huge extravagant service, in my opinion.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Is there any further debate in the positive? All right, seeing none, we will move into a roll call vote on Bill 252652.
Perfect. Roll call on Bill 52. Alvarez.
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Benson.
Yes.
Black.
Yes.
Biswell.
Yes.
Brown Logan.
Yes.
Brown Wyatt.
Yes.
Gary.
Yes, by proxy.
Koch.
Yes, by proxy.
Dunn.
Yes.
Dominguez.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Gaston.
Yes.
George. Glasscock.
Yes.
Guru Shankar.
Yes.
Halstead.
Yes.
Heller.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Holzmeister.
No.
Hoffman.
Yuppers.
Kramer.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yep.
Karuna Rathna. No?
No.
No? Gotcha. Jacobson.
Yes.
Hassan Shakib.
Yes.
Landwehr. Lilly.
Yes.
Loeb. Mickey.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Olingunju. Otto.
Yes.
Pena.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Palenko Castro.
Yes.
Potter.
Yes.
Prey.
Abstain by proxy.
Rafferty.
Abstain.
Richburg.
Yes.
Richenberg.
Yes.
Rogers.
No by proxy.
Rudd.
Yes.
Scarborough.
Yes.
Shellhaze.
Yes.
Shirky.
Yes.
Shasavari.
No.
Solis.
Yes.
Springer.
Yep.
Sushanik.
Yes.
Till.
Yes.
Trump.
Yes.
Zacko.
Yes.
Has every senator had a chance to vote? Does any senator wish to change their vote? Seeing none, Bill 252652 passes 46 to 4 to 2.
Okay, so next up we have introduction of legislation. Is there a motion to consider Bill 252653? Chair Shirky.
I wanted to, yeah, I move to consider all allocations.
It's only one.
Well, yes, all one.
Bill 252653, fiscal year 26 allocation to Young Democratic Socialists of America at Kansas State University. They will be traveling to Chicago, Illinois for the Young Democratic Socialists of America Winter Conference in February 20th through 23rd. And I would like to move this one into final action tonight as well, just so we can get them their money in time. Any questions about this allocation? They requested 1,000 and they were recommended 1,000. And just to remind you guys, we can approve, deny, or amend. So,
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yeah, can you give a reason for the 620 vote?
yeah, I normally don't put the votes in here, but I put that in just because it is relevant, I feel like, for you guys to know. But some committee members felt that they did not believe in the values of this organization, and then that they don't feel like they have treated senators well in the past. Am I missing anything?
That was.
Yeah, I'll defer the question to Senator Holzmeister.
I never said I oppose what they stand for, but.
My bad.
They do not treat senators very well. They publicly slander senators online. They try to intimidate senators. They constantly are harassing administration, and they're constantly harassing student senators about getting things what they want. I don't think student government should be funding organizations.
I don't think you can talk. I don't think you can debate.
That's debate.
But you can answer the question. Yeah.
Are you done answering the question? Okay. Senator Zacko.
I don't know if I'm just like, my eyes are glazing over this, but does it say anywhere in here how many people are going to this conference?
5.
5, okay.
Chair Shirky.
I have a correction followed by a question. So correction, line 17, voted should not be capitalized.
You're correct.
Yeah. And then the question is, because this is just more of a trivia question, because we changed the rules. Are we allowed to fund, like, ostensibly partisan institutions for, like, just because they're student-led? Like, are we allowed to fund institutions?
So, yes. I don't know about the legal ramifications of this, but they are an affiliated student group, not a sponsored student group. So they're not directly tied in with the university. Does that answer the question as well as you would like?
Point of information.
Chair Alvarez.
All student orgs have the right to receive funding from SGA. We get the same orgs in CEC.
Also, this event is not it's not about something that's really prohibited. It's just the national conference, and this is travel funding, not promoting anything on campus.
That was what I was really wondering.
Yeah.
Follow up. Like, this isn't, we're.
I think Joseph has something.
There
to say
are
first.
specific things that are prohibited. These are state dollars. They can't go to anyone's campaign. They can't go to promoting anyone. There are restrictions on this. Sending people to a conference is not that. It's well within what we're allowed to do.
Yeah. So then the follow up is, does SAC fund conferences routinely for groups other than political?
Yes.
Chair Alvarez.
I was just going to say, point of information, Halo has received funding for their conferences, so have other multiple.
No, I know. I just wanted it on the record.
Okay, making sure.
Senator Zacko.
I have a correction, line 25 should be abbreviated, so it's like the line right before the allocation.
Is that correct?
What? Wait, line 25?
Joseph, you can back me up, you said that.
Illinois, the
I got you.
Yeah. I didn't see this one whenever I went and edited everything, which is my bad because he did warn me. But yeah, Illinois should be IL on 25.
Okay, my bad. I thought, so I spell out the state up top, and then right before is when I abbreviate it?
Yeah.
Got you, thank you.
It's just to try to get everything to fit in one line.
It wouldn't have fit anyways.
But sometimes it happens.
All right, further questions or corrections for the author? Okay, seeing none, since that is the only allocation, we will just go ahead and move into final action on that. Well, huh? Move to special ordering.
Yes. So the chair did.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know. I just have to indicate.
Correct.
I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you have a special power. All right, you have first rights to debate.
Yeah, we don't normally debate these, but I mean, I'm going to stand by the decision that the committee made. There is inherent educational value to this conference. Something they also talked about is they do service on campus, and they which is something that does kind of factor in. They've been giving out Narcan and Plan B and things like that as well. And the point of this, I should have put it in the whereas clause, but they learn about ways to better serve their communities and to be active in a respectful manner. Whether or not they've been doing that, I don't know. But that's the point of them going to this conference.
All right. Chair Shirky.
I have a point of information which leads to a motion. Technically, we are debating it as if it were legislation, which means it's no longer in approval of applications. So unless somebody is going to move, because like it's in the standing rules. So technically,
move to allow debate.
yes. So that's what I'm going to say. So
Chair Shirky.
So I move to suspend the rules in order to allow debate on something in approval of allocations.
Is there a second? Okay. Seeing as those. Okay, so does Max need to come back up, or we can just move right into?
So now we can go to negative.
All right. So seeing as we already had debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Is there further debate in the positive? Is there any further? Oh, Senator Trump.
I move to amend the amount to $750 from 1,000.
Objection.
I third.
You've got to. You're required to put it in writing. Can someone send him this? Max, or Max, if you have it like on hand, can you email it to him?
Can he even amend in final action?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so after you send that in, then you have first rights to debate, Senator Trump, on your motion to amend.
Yes, I don't think we need to do that.
Chair Shirky.
This is more of a question. Do we need to like technically postpone the debate to give them time to write, or are we allowed to just sit here? It's gonna be done.
We can just sit here. We're making an executive decision. Anna Koch. Her email is open, so email it to her.
I've not had time to.
Okay, did you send it in? Senator Trump? Did you send it in? Okay.
Joseph.
All right, so to clarify, we're now going to have debate on the motion to amend the amount from $1,000 to $750.
so I lost my name tag, forgive me. The reason why I made this, or am suggesting this amendment, is due to the fact of this group's history with openly slandering senators. I don't agree with that from any organization that is K-State and that we are funding to go to organizations. I think they should absolutely still be able to go to this conference. It absolutely holds educational value, but I don't think they should be able to slander members in this body and then get away with it and exactly get what they want. So I'm saying we should still fund it, but require them to pay a little more out of pocket, which is why I'm saying we should reduce this amount from 1,000 down to 750.
Okay. That was, yep, you're good.
Sweet.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative, Senator Glasscock?
I ultimately do not believe that we should punish individual groups for the speech that they've made against senators. Thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the negative, is there further debate in positive? Positive for this amendment.
That was debate in the positive.
Yes. Okay, who wants to debate in the positive on the amendment? Raise your placards now. Senator Holzmeister.
I was debating even coming up here because last time I was up here, I had my face plastered all over social media. It is 100% an intimidation tactic. I will not be intimidated. The whole reason they do that is so that way you don't come up here and debate in the positive. And so it actually ends up hampering free speech here in the student chambers. It ends up intimidating other conservative members of this chamber. It's not for political purposes. I'm okay with, I guess you can give them a little money, but to say that you are just going to allow other other groups on campus who just bully, intimidate, and slander publicly other senators and just let them away with that, I think it really shows the health of this organization, which apparently is not in as good of a state as I thought it would be in. So, thank you.
Seeing as I was debating the positive, is there... Chair Alvarez.
Sorry. I have a problem with the number. Okay, two things. First one is more of a number issue. 750 is not a pretty enough number for everyone to have $200. If we want to change it, can I propose 800 so that we get 4 people to go instead of 3 and almost a 4th person to go? Potentially, because they need $200 per student. I don't know. Or we can split it up and give them 150. It's weird. I don't like the number. Next, I just don't think that we should be cutting money from a student organization going to a conference just because they want to go to a conference. We're debating the personal issues that we have with the people and the members of the organization. Every organization has bad members. I'm a part of many that have great and not so great members. They're going to a conference. Let them go to a conference if that's what they want to do, to learn and to grow and to be a part of their organization and to better participate and gain leadership abilities so that they're able to be better students on campus and to treat people better. I think this will just help them.
Seeing as that was debate in the negative, is there further debate in the positive? Chair Black. Oh, Senator Zacco.
I am confused. What is this conference? What's the purpose of them going? What does the conference cover? I'm just very unclear on that.
Man, I had it more off the top, but it's about ways to be civically involved in your community and support the cause, I guess. Or no, not support the cause. But I don't remember past that.
Did you have something?
Okay, so my debate is not, I actually do not believe that we should be cutting them because of their past history of slander. We gave another student organization last year a large allocation for them to host an on-campus event even after they went in the Collegian and said things that were not true about SGA funding practices. But I'm going to use this as a little bit of a platform to advocate to the Student Service Fee Committee But if we're going to come up here and say that we need to give them, every group that comes, their full requests, then when the contract that comes out for our next year's budget comes out, it's going to have to give us a reasonable amount of money to do so, or we're going to have to continue to pull from reserves. So if you're going to vote for, or if you're going to vote against this amendment because you think it's important to fund student groups fully, then we need to make sure that as a body, we are giving this committee enough money that we can do that.
Okay, is there further debate in the negative? Senator Jacobson.
I honestly just think it's a little bit ridiculous to try to like take money away and take away from something that could be beneficial. It is maybe something that needs to be addressed of them slandering certain senators online, and I think that that would be more beneficial than trying to like punish them and take away an experience for them, just because I feel like we try to give everybody equal opportunities, and this just kind of seems a little opposite of what we try to do.
Seeing as that was a debate in the
If we use the word slandering, can you make it clear that it is your opinion? Because that could get SGA as a whole in legal trouble.
Okay, is there further debate in the positive on this amendment? Oh, Senator Zacco.
Sorry, another question.
Wait, I can pull up their phone and answer your question.
No, I'm already reading their website. It's not about that. I'm just curious about like SAC funding. I know things have been changed around so much. Is SAC something that needs to have educational value, or is it just any student group that would like to travel for any reason can receive funding?
Educational value is part of the committee discretion when it comes to those things, so yes.
Senator Mitchell.
Point of information, with the new recent bylaws change, the CEC, like we have, the funding for CEC.
Right, I know CEC, but I'm asking about SAC.
Okay, is there further debate in the positive on this amendment? Is there further debate in the negative? Senator Dominguez.
Okay. Even though I don't agree with the slander towards a senator, I believe we should address the behavior and hold those involved accountable and take appropriate action. The situation reminds us that our words carry weight and leadership requires responsibility for the action that follows. And I also believe in being the bigger person. I know it sucks, I do, and I agree what they did was not right, but like the previous person said, you know, it's not fair for us to take away like that experience for them to grow and flourish as a person. That's all I got.
Seeing as that was debate in the negative, is there further debate in the positive? Senator Jacobson.
Slandering would be taking a photo of somebody up here and posting it on their organization's social media and saying bad things about them.
Okay, is there further debate in the negative on this amendment? Senator Gaston.
Second.
It's been asked for at least 5 times.
Yes.
I'm keeping track on you. Yeah, it's in order. All right, all those in favor of moving back to the original motion to vote on the amendment, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. Yes, this is to go back to the amendment. We're calling previous question to vote on the amendment. On the amendment to change it from $1,000 to $750. Okay, all opposed, same sign. Okay, so now we will do a hand vote on the amendment. Is that correct? All right. All those in favor of amending this from 1,000 to 750, please raise your placards now. Raise them high. No, we're voting to change it from 1,000 to 750. Okay. Is that clarified in the back? All right, all opposed, same sign. All right. Motion fails. We will now move into debate on, okay. Now move into debate on the bill. Okay, we had, pause it. All right, all those. No, Trump was negative. Was that not kind of okay. All right, is there any negative debate on this bill?
Joseph has some.
Is this negative? Okay. All right, is there a positive debate, Chair Lilly?
I think what they did was slander and stupid and unacceptable. However, we shouldn't cut their funding just because they are being obnoxious. They have First Amendment rights, and unfortunately, they get to use those how they choose. If they use them in a stupid way, we shouldn't punish the entire organization.
Okay, seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Senator Holzmeister.
I just want to come up and clarify, because multiple people have said it, including the previous speaker, has said we shouldn't punish the entire organization. However, it was the official organization's social media page that was calling out and intimidating senators. So therefore, that's why the entire organization is held accountable. Thank you.
Seeing as that was debate in the negative, is there further debate in the positive? Senator Mitchell.
Regardless of whatever values senators hold, I don't think that we should be choosing whether to fund a student organization based on whether or not we agree with their values. If a student organization came up and asked for funding and I did not agree with any of the things that they were for, 100% I would choose to fund them going to their conference. I hope other senators would do the same. I also don't think this is a good precedent for us as a student senate to be setting. If we choose to debate on which organizations and their beliefs that they hold should be funded or not, I think that sets not a good precedent for student senate. Also, oh my gosh, there was one other point. I cannot remember, but yeah, I don't think this is a good precedent for student senators to set. And even if some people were offended by comments made online, the student senate's job is not to decide what those repercussions or the effects of that speech should be.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Is there further debate in the positive? Chair Shirky.
So, aside from the whole moral argument of it's not the government's place to block speech that we don't like because we feel bad that someone has expressed political views that are different to ours. I mean, imagine a scenario in which the state of Kansas just stopped funding a group because they said, oh, I don't like Laura Kelly and I think we should have a Republican governor. It would be really bad. It would be a classic, they'd go to the Supreme Court and you'd lose because it's the First Amendment. Most importantly, though, we as politicians have like protections for our speech because we are making political statements in order to enact political change. This is a political institution which also has inherent rights to make controversial statements. That is their job as a political institution. We go against, the foundational principles of having an open and free campus when we do things like this. And most importantly, at least for me personally, there comes a time when you as a leader need to just grow a pair and accept being intimidated by other institutions on campus that do not align with your value set. You are here to represent the entirety of the student body. You're going to get flack for that. That is part of the job description. We as an institution have a higher responsibility than our own egos.
Seeing as that was in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Is there any further debate in the positive, Senator Zacko?
Okay, so obviously this is not something that, again, you're probably like, why the heck is she up there talking in the positive for YDSA? If you know me, I am against everything YDSA stands for. That's just my beliefs, that's my opinion. However, thinking about this over the past couple of days and tonight, it's not really our decision to deny funding to an organization with a legitimate conference that they want to attend that supports their missions, their organization's values and mission. That is the purpose of the committee, is to fund organizations like that. And as much as I don't want to fund them, I think this, against probably the support of my caucus, I am voting yes on this because I think, as previous speaker has mentioned, it sets a really bad precedent as a Senate for us to be voting on things like this based on our feelings and not based on, I guess, how we should be representing all students.
All right, seeing as that was a debate in the positive, is there further debate in the negative? Is there any further debate in the positive? Is there any further debate at all? All right, so now we'll move into a roll call vote on Bill 2526-53.
What? Because it's an approval of allocation. It's an approval of allocation. But like,
I'm gonna fix it.
Chair Shirky.
So technically, we're in approval of allocations, but we allow debate. So I'm going to make a motion to make it a roll call vote. It's logically equivalent to if we.
Can we just leave it as hand vote then?
Well, no. Currently, it's not a vote because it's an approval of allocations. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I move to suspend the rules, move Bill 53 from approval of allocations to final action, so we can vote on it, and allow for a hand vote on Bill 53.
Is there a second?
Objection.
Chair Lilly. Oh, okay. I'm just using. All right. Okay, all those in favor of allowing, go ahead.
If you do that, we go through another round of debate. Yeah.
I amend the motion to not have another round of debate.
why don't we just move to approve the allocation? Like that's like the simplest way.
You're right.
Okay, is there a motion to approve Bill 2526-53? You have to wait to be called on. Okay. All right, Bill 2526-53 stands approved then. There was a motion to approve.
No one heard.
Yes, we did.
Okay, well then you need to be paying attention and not talking, so that's on you. All right, moving on. All right, now we have introduction of legislation. Chair Shirky.
Move to consider the allocation. I'm looking at. Oh, right. Yes, I move to consider Bill 54.
Second.
Okay.
Is there a motion to summarize?
Senator Rudd.
I move to allow the speaker to summarize.
Perfect. Author can
Okay, well, I'm going to read it word for word. So, no, this is a sports club allocations that we've been talking about all semester. We had a total, just the brief overview, we had $284,000 requested by these organizations, which is 422% of the total budget that we have for this. So it was very difficult. We could not meet a lot of the group's funding needs. But I'll let you guys look through all of those. And if you have questions about any of the decisions that the committee made, let me know. And just FYI, we are introducing this tonight, but we're probably going to postpone it in committee because the contract, we're going to let the contract pass first. And also note that Jiu-Jitsu, Table Tennis Club, and Women's Wrestling Club, there are not account strings there. We're working on that. It's coming. It's not a correction as of this point. We'll add it in there. So, yeah.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author?
Yeah.
Chair Lilly.
There aren't line numbers, so on line, whatever it is.
Are you talking about Women's Wrestling Club?
What?
Are you talking about Women's Wrestling Club?
No, there aren't line numbers on the legislation.
Yeah, we'll add those in.
Well, okay, but also there's no and on whatever this line is.
Okay, fair. If only Senate Ops would have edited this before.
I edited everything at 5:30 p.m.
Sorry.
I edited everything at 5:30 p.m., 17 and a half hours after it was actually due, and this wasn't there yet.
Wait, when's it due?
11:59 p.m. on Monday.
All right, are there any other questions or corrections for the author? All right, thanks. Oh, yeah, that was it. All right. Moving into second open period. Are there any second open period speakers? Chair Shirky.
I want to make this quick. Even if, and it did feel controversial today because it was, but please continue to do that. I mean, like my first and second year in Senate, there was, very little debate on things like the big SSF bills. And I know I'm going to get shit from my colleagues in exec for this because we have a compelling government interest in getting this stuff done quickly. But I personally love it when you guys are out there debating, making motions to amend, even if it ultimately doesn't work, because that is healthy for the institution to be skeptical of the things that are in front of us.
I agree. Retweet to what Philip just said. All right. Any other second open period speakers? Commissioner Hoffman.
Hey Joe, what's Anna's email?
It's Anna Koch.
Anna, just Anna Koch, full.
Well, you should just be able to type her name in. And
Yeah, it's on my personal.
Oh, all right. Well, I can't help you.
Is it an
I think it's A code.
A? Okay. How are you guys doing today? I would like to second what Philip said as I get this thing on there. Did you get that, Joe? That email that I just sent to Anna, possibly? But this was the most fun Senate that I've had in there. So we have this new merch coming out for Grey Garden. So this is the new design, and so it's going to be another sweatshirt. This stuff will come in the spring. So please let me know if you're interested. This was designed by one of the members' dads, who's actually an acclaimed artist. If you guys have ever seen Extraction, he wrote the novel. Well, he was the graphic designer for the novel of Extraction, which has who's Thor? Who's that guy? He's in that. He's in Extraction. My friend's dad wrote the thing that has Chris Hemsworth in it. He has a Wikipedia page. Designed by that. That's so watch out for that one. Also, if you guys are anime lovers, someone might be in the works.
What?
Can you clarify?
They might. They'll probably have a show.
He said something might be in the works.
Something might be in the works.
For what?
An anime show from Grey Garden, from these guys. So if you go and if you look awesome wearing that, you would I would look at you like
Okay.
good.
I don't really know. You can have a seat. I'm censoring you.
Questions? Are there not?
Are there any questions? All right. Thank you.
Join my committee.
Are there any other second open periods?
Council.
Pro Tem Lee. Huh?
He said his committee.
Oh.
Same. Just a reminder. Well, first, I agree. Thank you for Phil for saying or the previous speaker for saying all that stuff. I think it's really healthy for our democracy that we have civic discourse, especially as something that's not being modeled at a national level. It's cool to see that that's happening here within our own chambers, and we need to replicate that for others. Also, the Tang show, Hang with Tang, is that the right one? Or the Tang radio show, whatever that one is. It's happening next week again. For folks who signed up, you got that initial email from me and the calendar invite. So just like show up, I guess. I really don't know much about it besides showing up to JP's. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to get someone to answer that for you. So.
Any questions? All right. Thanks. Are there any other second open period speakers? All right. Just do our Senate shout-outs.
All right, Senate shout-outs. You're going to hate me. Today we have 75. Shout-outs. Shout out to Max still having the tag on his Santa hat. Shout out to the Jackson 5 Christmas album. Keep the biggie out the candy bowl. Shout out to Andrew Lee eating all the candy. Andrew Big Back ate all the candy in the office. Hashtag Chungus. Guys, let me have another speakeasy. Shout out to Joseph getting called out in the group me. Shout out to Joseph taking over Senate. Only one more deodorant application before Christmas. All right, Max. Shout out to Jacob Porter for turning up to Senate. Yay, Jacob. Yay, Jacob. All right, you suck. Shout out to not asking ops to sponsor legislation. Me when I take away all the parking. Freak Bob. Shout out to sponsoring. Who's hosting the annual hangout tonight? Evelyn looks so baddie once again. Shout out to the Meatballs being reunited. That's right. First in DC, now here. Shout out to Attorney General Meatball. Shout out to the other Meatball. Shout out to Joseph, Evelyn, and Andrew Hundling. Huddling? I assume that's what you mean. Shout out to the Meatball family. I will faithfully execute the office Phase 2 mentee, LOL. Shout out to Max, your best outfit. Shout out to Max's fit. Shout out to Andrew and Joseph playing charades. Got data? Question mark. Shout out to Madeline for being baddie AF. Phil loves raw data. Shout out to raw data. Next question. Shout out to Busboy. The real ones remember you, Busboy. Shout out to Mommy's Little Meatball rolling on into Senate. Shout out to talking about parking way too much tonight. Shout out to Max bringing the Ginger Bell Rock to Senate tonight. Shout out to Max for being the only gingerbread I need. Shout out to Max's jumpsuit so slay. Andrew, please mention how I spelled slay. Slay as in like a snow sleigh. Shout out to micros on my mobility. Interesting. Shout out to Matt saying K-State students could use the extra steps. Shout out to Andrew's last Senate before he goes back to the North Pole. That's right. I'm gonna go back and work in my toy factory. That's funny. You said 2 ways. Shout out to Molly Zacco for breaking the table. Is it the plug thing? I think that one's always been broken. Shout out to Coach Klein. Yes, Coach Klein. Yes. He's going to be in Manhattan tomorrow, so pull up to the airport because that's where he's going to be there. 10:48 a.m. Shout out to not shutting up about parking. Shout out to my darling little sissy Molly. Oh, Molly. Shout out to faculty and staff loving cars. Shout out to Jacob saying 21 times during his report. Shout out to Charlie. Shout out to Philip for proving once again he's the best public speaker in this room by a long shot. Jacob's count during SLS speech, 38. Shout out to Max pulling out the Constitution. Shout out to considering all 1 allocations. Shout out to Joseph shushing. Shout out to Andrew asking for a charger. Thank you, Joseph, for providing me with your charger. Shout out to Alondra and Joseph almost having the same hair length. Shout out to Joe being an absolute menace on the screens as Max speaks. Shout out to Joseph breaking the 4th wall. Shout out to the slander meaning, verb, the action or crime of making a false spoken statement damaging to a person's reputation, or noun, making false or damaging statements about, quote, someone. Shout out to growing a pair, ×3. Shout out to shutting up and listening. Shout out to Carson allowing. I thought we were going to be out of here by 8:30. Shout out to needing a drink. Shout out to keeping decorum. Retweet. Shout out to a retweet. I need a drink. Jacob, you should know Anna's email. Mommy's Little Meatballs. Shout out to Jacob's band that he is not in. Shout out to Jacob, stop repping a band that you're not in. Shout out to name dropping. Shout out to always promoting Board Game Club. I mean your band at Grey Garden. Shout out to getting looked at. Shout out to Mommy's Little Meatball not wearing a meatball sweater. Yeah. Motion to prohibit Jacob from repping his band in second open period. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, so as far as reference legislation goes, wait, sorry, let me pull up my notes. All right, so 25, 26, well, I guess it's just 54, will be referred to the Student Allocations Committee. All right, and, all right, second roll call.
Okay, Alvarez.
Here.
Barnes. Benson. Black. Biswell. Brown Logan. Brown Wyatt. Carey. Koch. Gotcha. Dunn. Dominguez. Erickson. Freeman. Gaston. George. Glasscock. Guru Shankar. Halstead. Heller. Hernandez. Holmes. Sorry, last count. Holzmeister. Hoffman. Karina Rathna.
Kia.
Kraus. Jacobson. Hassan Shakib.
Here.
Landwehr.
Here.
Lilly. Loeb. Mickey. Mitchell. Olingunju. Otto.
Here.
Pena. Perry. Phillips. Palenko Castro.
Here.
Potter. You here? Okay. Pray. Rafferty. Richburg. Richenberg. Rogers. Rudd. Scarborough. Shellhaze. Shirky. Shasavari. Solis. Springer. Sushanik. Till. Chump. Zacco. Okay, that's it.
All right, is there a motion for adjournment?
Second.
Wow, really? Guys, come on. Senator Glasscock.
I move to adjourn until January 22nd?
29th.
22nd or 29th?
No, he said 22nd.
Yeah, that seems right.
Okay. Is there a second? All right, all those in favor, raise your placards now. All opposed, same sign. Wow, meeting adjourned. Happy holidays, everyone.
One.